As always, if you like what you see, use the links below to buy the game and help support Slope's Game Room. Or you could support the show on Patreon, your choice. You know what I've been playing a lot lately? Shikhondo Soul Eater, an awesome little game that was graciously sent to me on the PlayStation 4 by the good folks at Play Asia. What you see here is the PlayStation 4 Play exclusive version, and sadly the Switch version has yet to arrive, but after looking up several other Switch reviews, it looks pretty much the same. So, in all honesty, I must admit I'm not the biggest fan of bullet hell games, or shmups if you will, but I have been getting more into them over the last couple of years, as they always try to add something new to a pretty well-rounded formula. And this game is no different. The main mechanic is down to the Soul Eater parts of the game's name. Similar, I suppose, to something like Burnout. Surprisingly, this game rewards you for getting really close to oncoming projectiles whilst shooting down wave after wave of what seems like fairly repetitive enemies. As you do this, you can collect your souls of the bad guys you destroy, constantly building up your, you guessed it, your soul collect meter on the right that you can see here. Once this is full, you can activate a sort of kill all the things on the screen, minus the main boss battles of course, and go into a full-on berserk attack mode. Obviously, being able to do this is fairly easy, but the real challenge comes with not only getting close enough and dodging the enemy's neon coloured dots and daggers, but also to try and link these crazy soul modes as best you can. It is tough to do at first, and it will take you several run-throughs of the game before you really start to nail this formula. But considering the game isn't actually that long in the first place, it's not that much of a chore to achieve. On top of this, there are two modes of attack. You have the wider shot, which you activate by simply holding down the shoot button, or you have this far more accurate and slow down method with a sort of focus mode, which pushes your fire range into a more single line of fire. But obviously, it makes it more powerful at the same time. And honestly guys, that is it. Just like so many classic shmups, you are going to complete this game in less than an hour. Actually closer to 30 minutes if I'm going to be honest. But that's just the way these games are for the most part. Yes, it's easy to get to the end, but it's not an easy game. Far, far, far from it. I must have played this game a good 5 or 6 times so far through to completion. I really am looking forward to when I get that Switch release to go and take it on the go. Constantly trying to beat my own high score and seeing how far I can get without taking one single hit of damage is what a game like this is all about. It's 100% not a AAA £60 game, but instead it's a simple yet fun experience that's 100% worth a £20 physical asking price. The game was developed by a young Korean developer by the name of Youngjin Ko from Deer Farm Games, whose first gaming experience by all accounts was a game called Chukka Taisen, which is Cloudmaster for the Western audiences out there. A rather solid scrolling shooter that not only played well but also had a rather interesting theme as it follows the ever so popular 16th century Chinese journey to the West novel. And by the way guys, after watching this, I do suggest you go and check out Kim Justice's video into this topic a little bit more. Genuinely, one of my favourite videos of hers from the last year or so. Anyway, inspired by this, Youngjin decided to make his far more up-to-date bullet hell to also have an underlying ancient Korean mythology feel behind it. And honestly, this is where the game really does shine. Not only is it a standard at first yet perfectly fine shooter, but mixing that with the incredible art style found in the background, the characters, the enemies, the bosses, the bloody borders, everything just gels together to make a rather stunning, albeit short, experience. And damn, those boss battles, my god are they awesome. The limited edition version of the game actually has this soundtrack on CD, and after listening to several different styles of EDM and even, I suppose, Nightwish-esque fantasy metal, if that even is a real genre, when that boss battle transforms, so does the music into a brilliantly twisted drum and bass theme that sounds like it's been ripped directly from a noisier album. Just check this out. In short, the game is rather good. And sure, it's not without its flaws, such as no online multiplayer, only 2 characters to choose from, the odd zoom in that pixelates the characters, and as previously mentioned, the game is very short in length. But as a whole, I am very pleased with this sexy little package, as it feels so incredibly unique to pretty much any other game for the system. It's far from perfect, but it's not only great to own, but it's also quite a bit of fun to play. If you fancy nabbing yourself a copy, be sure to use the links below to help with the running of this show. Now, before I go, allow me to showcase boss number 2, Chang Kwai, who is apparently influenced by yokai. That's a demon apparently from Korean folklore. The legend goes that anyone who is killed by a tiger becomes attached to the tiger's armpit, cheekbones and chin. Okay, well this is what that looks like. And I'm gonna let you all look up the remaining bosses' backstories yourself. Cheerio!